And we're live. Okay,
Awesome.
so today I would like to welcome Lauren Banik from Life 96.5 and the Brad and Lauren Show. Thanks for being with us, Lauren.
Thanks, Taylor, for having me.
Yeah. So when I first asked you to join today, you told me you weren't an expert in this topic and you didn't know if you'd be any help. Why did you feel that way?
Because I'm not a doctor. No, yeah, I do know a lot of people who have arthritis. I myself, I know I'm like, oh, I'm going to be getting it. But other than knowing that it's inflammation of the joints, I'm like, I don't know if I can help.
And that's the common issue that we're fighting today. And that's what Arthritis Awareness Month really is trying to target here. So, oh gosh. People aren't that aware of arthritis, and personally, I believe bringing awareness to arthritis helps people get involved in the community and help people with arthritis. It can also lead to better time should that person or someone they know be diagnosed with arthritis. Being a radio host that you are, how do you feel the Arthritis Foundation, the arthritis community should be raising awareness for arthritis?
Oh boy. Well, yeah, awareness is the key, like you mentioned. I mean, just getting the word out there, I think getting in front of people, that can totally help maybe spark or bring it to mind that it is an issue and that it is probably more common than we think.
Yeah. So my notes are messed up here.
You're doing great.
So let's move on to the topic. How can people help? Well, we think of giving money right away. Usually when we think of giving help, there's a bunch of other ways that people can help, the way I tell people that they can help is really just researching and understanding the topic that they're trying to help. I think that helps more than anything, If you can research and understand it, when someone asks you later on in the future about the topic, then you can be more aware and you can talk to them about it. Other ways are like volunteering, spreading the word for it. Recently, Life 96.5 did the drive-through difference. Can you talk about that? Well,
yeah. So the drive-through difference, encouraging the community to get out there and just make an impact and doing some small act of kindness, but yet it could be just a huge impact on someone's day. So you just pick a fast food restaurant or a restaurant and do a little dine-in, carry out, but basically it's just paying for the person behind you. So if you're going through the drive-through, when you get up to the cashier, then you just say, hey, I want to take care of the car behind you and pay for their meal. And it, like I said, it's just a small impact or a small act of kindness, I should say, to make a huge impact, but being nice out there in the community and taking care of others. And yeah, that's what the drive-through difference is all about. It's pretty easy to do.
Yeah, and I heard on the news station one time that you really don't know what the problems are of the people behind you, what they're going through in life and everything. And so when I heard that on the news, I'm like, that's exactly how I can relate that to arthritis. It's an autoimmune disease. You can't see it by the naked eye. And so if I'm just walking by you, no one else could probably know that I have arthritis. Mm-hmm. And so that's another problem that we face all the time. And it really helps that things like these can open your eyes that there are things out there that people are facing and don't know about, and we don't know about.
Right. It's so hidden that they might be experiencing that pain, or maybe they just got the diagnosis from the doctor, and they're having a really down kind of day. And then yet they go through the drive-through and they get up there to pay for their meal and they realize that somebody already took care of it. Yeah. We don't know anybody's story unless they share it with us, but man, just doing that and knowing that God's going to take care of the rest and be able to work it for good. Yeah, it's a pretty cool thing.
Yeah, it really is. So you said you knew people with arthritis. Do you want to elaborate on that just a little bit, like family members?
Yeah, boy, a lot of people in my family. I mean, everybody from my grandma to grandpa, my mom, and then even my husband and I, as we're getting a little older, you start to have the effects of the arthritis kick in, from the stories that you hear that your parents, and tell, or your grandparents like, oh, my knee, it's locking up. If it's cold and wet outside, then my knee locks up. And so I'm like, must be arthritis. I don't.
We hear that a lot too. And that's something I think we need to bring awareness to, about not all pains like that are arthritis. And that's something that we need to work on. So what do you know about arthritis?
Yeah, I just know that it's, I believe, inflammation of your joints. There's not much fluid or cartilage built up there, I think, and that's where that issue comes in.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, good. That's about it.
Okay. Well, there's actually over 54 million Americans within the United States that have arthritis. 300,000 of them are kids under the age of 18.
Wow.
And so that's almost the state of South Dakota, if you think about it. And so it's a pretty large number. And 1 in 4 Americans have it. And actually, this is a statistic that gets a lot of people more involved, is juvenile arthritis is more common than juvenile diabetes and cystic fibrosis combined.
Really? See, you got me there. I had no idea.
Yeah. And yet we usually think of juvenile diabetes a lot more than we do of juvenile arthritis and stuff like that.
Yeah, you hear so much more of the diabetes part and making sure that you're eating healthy and whatnot. But yeah, I had no clue about those statistics for juvenile arthritis.
Yeah. So is that the one that surprised you, or did all of them pretty much surprise you?
That one probably, yeah, went to the top of the list there. Yeah.
Okay, so now I've been playing this game with a few of my other guests on this interview series. So I'm going to share my screen quick.
Okay. I like games.
Can you see this?
Yes.
Okay, so it's just testing your knowledge on arthritis. And though you may, like you said, you may not know all of them, that's okay. That's what we're trying to learn here. Okay, so you can just tell me A, B, C, or D whenever you want.
Okay, I think if you just mentioned it not that long ago, was it 300 million?
Okay, this is how many people worldwide have arthritis. So 300 million, that's your answer?
Yeah, let's still go with that.
Okay.
Oh, maybe it was more like 350. Too late.
What is the possible symptom of arthritis?
I'm going to say all of the above.
True or false? Cracking your knuckles increases your chance of getting arthritis.
I'm going to say false, even though I told my girls true.
What doctor treats patients with arthritis?
Rheumatologist.
True or false? Patients vary in their response to arthritis medication.
I'm going to say true.
How many adult Americans have arthritis in the United States?
Americans in the United States. Let's go with 54 million.
About how many kids in the U.S. have juvenile arthritis?
That's right. You just said that. Let's see. Let's do about 300,000.
Statistically, how many Americans have arthritis?
1 in 4.
And juvenile arthritis is more common than?
Let's see. We talked about juvenile diabetes, but also cystic fibrosis. So the last one.
What type of disease is arthritis?
Autoimmune.
How many different variants of arthritis are there?
I'm going to go with over 100.
What is the most common type of arthritis?
Let's see. I'm between C and D. I'm going to go with C.
Okay. Statistically, how much does arthritis cost the U.S. economy every year?
Boy, let's go big, 100 billion.
True or false? Arthritis has a cure.
No. Yep, false. Sorry.
No, that's fine. True or false? Arthritis is more common in women.
Let's go with true.
I am completely blown away here.
Really?
Yeah.
What do we got?
You got most of them right. 13 out of 15.
Nice.
That's actually really good.
See, I was close. See, I did kind of want to go back to 350, but.
Yeah. So yeah, 350 million people in the world have arthritis. So that's actually pretty much the population of the whole United States.
That's a lot. My goodness.
You're right. All of the above are symptoms of arthritis: joint pain, joint swelling, joint stiffness. Yeah. Cracking your knuckles does not increase your chances of getting arthritis. I know that's a common myth that everyone shares around, but
Mm-hmm.
and you're right, rheumatologist is the doctor that treats patients with arthritis. Patients do vary in their response to arthritis medications. I know for me, I'm on this drug called methotrexate, and if it doesn't work, it has problems with your guts. So if I have stomach problems a lot, I might have to do an injection instead of this medication. So
Sure.
there's a lot of trial and error when it comes to treating patients with arthritis. 54 million Americans have arthritis, 300,000 kids, statistically 1 in 4. And you were right on this one too. I am just blown away how you got all these right. I have no clue. And arthritis is an
your answers too.
arthritis is an autoimmune disease, meaning that it cannot be seen on the outside by the naked eye. There are over 100 different types of arthritis.
Boy.
It's also very surprising. You're right, osteoarthritis is the most common type of arthritis. That's the one that you see in most of the older generation.
Sure.
Rheumatoid arthritis, the one you were going between, is actually the second most common. So
Okay.
statistically, it costs about $86 billion a year.
Wow. Still a lot.
Yeah.
My goodness.
And arthritis does not have a cure. Otherwise, I don't think we'd be talking about this right now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And arthritis is more common in women. That's surprising.
No, that was a guess there. I was like, huh? So how long, Taylor, can I ask you how long you've had arthritis then?
I've had arthritis since I was 9. So I'm 16 now, so about 7 years. I think I was diagnosed in June. So.
And how did you, what symptoms did you have then that caused you to go to the doctor or get it like checked out?
Well, the main thing, I remember this very well, is we were coming home from a trip to Mitchell one night, and we got out and I'm just feeling real stiff, and I'm just like, I don't know what's going on. I'm just thinking, oh, my leg fell asleep in the car or something. I go upstairs, I pull my socks off to get ready for bed and stuff, and I look down, and my right ankle is the size of a water balloon.
Wow.
And my parents, I showed them, and they're like, oh, maybe just twisted it somewhere when we were down there. And it continued like that. And so I went to bed. The morning I woke up, my fingers were really stiff to the point where I really just couldn't pull up even my pants or buckle it or anything. And my ankle, I could barely move. And again, we were in a rush the morning. So my parents, and they didn't know what it was. So they just said, we got to just keep going. You just got to try and make it through it. It came to about Wednesday that week. And I just couldn't write at school. I couldn't walk. I just couldn't do anything. And so I called home, and my parents were like, yeah, we got to get you in somewhere. There is actually a severe shortage of pediatric rheumatologists within the United States too. So in South Dakota at the time, we did not have a pediatric rheumatologist. So I went to this little clinic in Parker because they figured that, oh, I might have twisted my ankle or something. And so we went there, they looked at it, they're like, there's really nothing we can do. He didn't twist his ankle. And so we went to my pediatrician. I swear we went through at least 4 doctors before we got to a pediatric rheumatologist. And that was in Mayo. And she took one look at me, and the pediatrician put me in a boot at the time, and she told me, take that off. She looked at me and she said, you don't need it. You have arthritis. We're going to start you on medication right away, and we're going to get this under control.
Wow. So yours kind of came on all of a sudden. It wasn't like just here and there real slow, but it just kind of happened suddenly.
Yeah.
Boy.
Yeah. We just really have no clue how it happened. That's why my diagnosis is idiopathic. That's what that means. And it's just something you got to fight through every day and hope it gets better.
Does the medication help you?
Yes, it is helping. Right now, the problem is there is a shortage. Hydroxychloroquine has been in shortage due to treating COVID. That's actually a common arthritis medication drug. And that's
Sure.
actually the drug that got me into remission the first time. I'm lucky because I got a 6-month supply here at home, but other people
Yeah.
are.
Mhm,
So yeah,
mhm.
everyone's going through a hard time right now, but
Right, right. But like you said, we just don't know because it's on the inside, you just don't know what anybody's going through.
no, that's what the whole point is. We got to raise awareness. We got to make people more aware so that they understand what's going on. And
Awesome.
so, yeah. So now I want to ask you about your career. Okay.
Mhm. Okay.
So how did you get to Life 96.5 as a radio host?
Oh my goodness, that's a God thing. So I started back in 2007. I started with Operation Prom Dress. I was just talking to God and okay, Lord, what do you want to do in my life? I was at home, staying at home with my girls, my 3 daughters, and I was homeschooling them at the time. And as if that wasn't enough, I was like, what else do we have? What else do you have for me? And so that was, God laid that on my heart to start doing that, where it's a ministry that we start out of our church and gave each year girls in need prom dresses. And so that went on for 13 years. But during that time, I was invited to stop by Life 96.5 and talk about Operation Prom Dress and during the morning show. And about a year later, there was an opening, and that's when they reached out to me and said, hey, so we know you can start things because you started your own ministry. So do you want to come and work and do some promotions here and perhaps be on the morning show? And I just laughed when I got that email. I was laughing. I was like, oh Lord, this is not what I expected when I was asking you what's next, kind of thing. And so that's how I came to the station. I was homeschooling my girls, and the next thing you know, no radio background, just love people and love God, and was excited to see what he could do with me. And that's how I started here. Started on the morning show and promotions, and now I'm the morning show and program director. So it's kind of crazy. It's not at all where I thought I would be if you would have asked me how many years ago.
Yeah. So how long has Life 96.5 been around actually?
It's been over 50 years. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. Mhm.
So I just remember the first time I turned into Life 96.5. I was laying in bed one night. I think I had KTWB on because I always listen to music at night.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it just cut out. Like the radio just stopped working. So I was shifting around the radio. It's one of them ones with a little dial on it. And I trying to find a station, and suddenly I go across Life 96.5 and I'm just hearing these words. And the music was just good. So I just stayed on it all night. And now I think the next morning I woke up and I had it still on. And I swear I never heard that song before, but I knew all the words to it because I probably listened to it that night. And it was just so cool. And
Isn't that neat?
it really
we have
shows
a lot of friends or listeners that they'll just be like flipping through the radio station, and all of a sudden something just kind of prompts them to stop, and it's like, okay, I'll listen for a little bit, and then never change it.
Yeah. I know my mom, I showed my mom one day, and now she's listening to her car every day.
Awesome.
It's just awesome.
We
So,
have prisoners in the jail and at the prison, and most of the time the only radio station that comes in is Life 96.5, because they'll be able to buy little radios that they can have in their cells with them, and that'll be really the only radio station that comes in. And so I'm like, all right, God, you're doing your thing.
So what is the most surreal moment you've had working as a radio host? Like, is it meeting with all the singers and artists and stuff, or what is it?
That from the beginning, at the very, very beginning, it was like, oh, I get to go backstage and I get to meet this artist and this artist. And then after you kind of see them, more and more and get to connect with them and whatnot, you're just like, oh yeah, I know Matthew West, and oh yeah, casting guys, they're so nice. Anyway, but that's so old news, but I think the part of my job that I love the most is connecting with people and getting to be able to meet everybody face to face and get out into our community and just sharing in life with each other. So yeah, it's kind of, it kind of changes. There's seasons in this job, but then I think too, just seeing how God has worked through the station. I think every day, we'll get a phone call or an email, or someone will connect with us on social media, and just how God has used the ministry in their life and still working, even while we're sleeping, God's at work through the radio station. It's just, I think that it just blows me away each and every time, whether he's saved someone's life literally because they turned on the radio station when they were going to just be done with life. And then there was something, God used the radio station, spoke through that song and snapped them out of it. And we hear that time and time again, and just how it's getting everybody through, especially during these times, day to day. So I think every day I'm just always blown away and amazed at how God is working through Life 96.5. It's just so cool. So I love the stories. So that's probably why one of the main reasons I love to connect with people is to hear the stories of how God's working in their life.
Yeah. So has COVID made you a lot busier with all this now? Like you said, you're connecting more with people and everything.
Yeah, it's been a change here at the station. So we've staggered our staff time. So Brad and I will be on the air in the morning, and then we will get out. So then Luann can come on in the middays, and then she'll get out, and then Ryan will come in the afternoons. And staff is pretty limited. If you work at home kind of thing, but come in and do your show and then get. Today actually is the first day, because we have our fundraiser starting tomorrow for the rest of the week. So today is the first day that we're all here. And it's still, we've got enough room where we can spread out and still kind of do our social distancing thing, but the lights are on, people are here and talking. It's like, hey, how have you been? And whatnot. So that's quite the change with that. Otherwise, we've been doing Zoom meetings as well each week to connect with each other. But yeah, now we're looking for the new norm of what does this summer look like? Because we had all of our events planned for this summer, and this is what we're going to do. This is the fun giveaways and the things that we're going to promote. And now it's all up in the air. So we're going to connect each week and see what fun things we can still do, but maybe it just looks a little different from normal or past years.
Yeah. So can you walk us through the normal day without COVID as a radio host?
So for me, I wake up at 4, and can you imagine waking up at 4 a.m., Taylor? I don't know.
I'm not.
Nope. So I get in by 5 and then start prepping for the morning show, which will go live at 6. And then Brad and I are together until 9. And then he'll do 9 to 10 on his own. And after the morning show, I come back to my office and I do the other half of my job, which is programming the station. And so everything you hear, the whole on-air part, that sound, all that stuff. So that's what I'm over and in charge of. And so that will be the back half of my day.
Okay. So how has being at Life 96.5 changed your life as a whole?
Oh, I think, sleep, my sleep schedule looks different. That's for sure. That's shifted. I go to bed at like 8 o'clock, but I think it goes back to the stories and just being open and vulnerable. And me, myself, I think that helps others be open and vulnerable about, we're just living life and trying to get through this together. But goes back to those stories of that, just the day-to-day stories of seeing God work, and that he is active and he's doing some really cool things. And so for me, I get to hear it and see it each and every day, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. So that's all I got for you today, but thank you for joining us again. It was
thank you.
I think you did awesome, even though you didn't think you knew anything, but
I know, look at that.
The test shows different.
You made me feel smart. And thank you for sharing the information too about arthritis and not knowing those facts and stuff. And so thank you for being open about your story too, and going through it and bringing awareness. I think it's really important. So keep it up.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Taylor.